Hello, hello, hello. It is Alesha Brown, the Joy Guru, and you have no idea how happy I am to be back for another soul shifting Sunday. I am honored to come back for the Cheryl Polote-Williamson brand and share this message with you. You don't need a new year, you need a new you. And I'm not going to come with 5 steps for this or 3 steps for this or grab your pen and paper because I really just want to talk to you. I know this is one of my signature speeches, but I believe that God gives us a new word, even if it's something we're used to saying over and over again on our platform. I believe that God gives us a fresh word with a fresh perspective because that's how much he values each and every one of us. So I want to give somewhat of a fresh perspective, especially during the times that we're living in. You know, just the topic, you don't need a brand new year, you need a brand new you. I can go over that so many different ways. It's not funny. You know, sometimes that is the problem. When someone says you need a brand new you, according to our society, then we start thinking of things we can switch. Just like with the business or brand, you know, well, maybe my hair needs to be different. Maybe I need new makeup. Maybe I need new glasses, or, you know, my clothes need to change. And we start thinking about all these ways we need to change ourselves. And for many of us, that is the problem. Other people's definitions, society's definitions. We live in a world where you are never good enough. And some of us, if you're like myself, you know, I came from an abusive background. Some of you out there may have had a bad marriage or bad relationship, or maybe you had a similar experience with childhood, some life experience that told you you weren't good enough. Even in the business realm, there's always that competitive spirit or that is encouraged. So, you know, before some of you, before you can even settle to have the victory and celebrate your win, you're already looking at the person to your left or your right and thinking, I could do this so much better. I could be at another level. My level I'm currently, you know, this is small potatoes compared to this person or this or that or where I need to be. So we're always in that mindset, some of us, of trying to transform of ourselves. And, you know, we're never good enough. But what I share with you today about you don't need a brand new year, you need a brand new you, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about changing your thinking. Because let me just start with the truth that begins here. The brand new you that you need is really who you always were. The problem is you have not connected to the you that God has created. Let's go ahead and delve into that. There is a predestined role, title, purpose for your life. No matter what anyone will tell you, whether your parents planned you or your birth, what your conception was unexpected. Nothing was by happenstance or caught God off guard. He had a plan for your life. Now, the problem with us is often we're not taught that, nor do we believe that. And if we come to the realization of that, it's in later years, after we've already tried to be everyone else's definition, or the things that we thought were great ideas or good for us, we never considered the source. We never asked God, what is my purpose? We never asked God, who is it that you designed me to be? Because for some of us, that wasn't even on our minds. We didn't think that way. We didn't have the knowledge or awareness of that. And even if we did at some point, someone brought that to our attention, we were almost paralyzed because, okay, now that I have that information, what do I do with it? Even if I ask God and pray to God, then what does that mean? What does that look like? And sometimes we went back into our old habits of just trying to do what we thought was best or what someone taught us or what we're looking at someone else's definition of success and trying to be like them since we admire them. You know, I had a wonderful interview here recently with an influencer, and she took the words right out of my mouth. She said, you know, so many people are focused on becoming. She said, but actually, it's not about becoming. They just need to undo everything that they thought they were to be the person that God designed them to be. And that's why I said, you don't need a new year, you need a new you. Let's delve into that as well. One thing about me is I don't like New Year's resolutions. Now, if you need a brand new year, and that's, you're using the New Year's, the newness as a way to refresh and make new goals, have at it. I don't. And this is why. Because you have that stereotype of people. The majority of people will make New Year's resolutions and they do not keep them. They say anything you do for 21 days can become a new habit. Most people don't even keep with 21 days. And then the ones that go the distance, and maybe they do it for 30 days, maybe a few months, then all the momentum is gone. That's why those gym memberships, they're, giving you all these deals at the beginning of the new year. Some of them start early at the end of December because they know people make New Year's resolutions, but they also know their gyms and their facilities are going to be sparse by February and March, because that's when most people give up. And let's really correlate that to ourselves. How, let's say you need to lose a few pounds and you're like, girl, I'm going to start that diet on Monday and today is Thursday. So what are you doing on the weekend? Well, I'm just going to eat this one last time. I'm going to drink this one last time. I'm going to go to that restaurant spot. Oh, yes, that dessert, that food, that meal, one last time. Because when Monday comes, it's going to be on and popping. And Monday come, you might start, okay, with breakfast, eating this new plan, wherever you diet. Maybe by lunch or dinner, you had a little temptation. And maybe some of you did okay on Monday. But somewhere in the week, you mess up. And then we push it to the next Monday and the next Monday. We just play this yo-yo thing forever. It's always another Monday. It's always another day. It's always another week. But the truth of the matter is, if you were really serious about that goal, you would start now. It wouldn't have mattered if you've eaten the most fattening foods all day long. You wouldn't wait to the next day, because this is important to you, because this is a priority. You're going to start now. You're going to make plans to have a clean slate right this moment. So here's what I equate that to when it comes to the new you that you're going to need for those things you say that really matter to you, those things that you say are a priority to accomplish them and be successful. Do you believe you can do it? Because if I believe that there was a predestined will that God had for my life, there's a certain purpose he has for me to fulfill. And if I have a relationship with him, I believe that everything I'll ever need to fulfill it, since he called me to do it, I have it. And if I don't believe right now in my hand, I have it, I believe in the God that I serve, that he's going to bring it to me. So I wouldn't walk around fearful. I wouldn't walk around with, how is this going to get done? I wouldn't walk around with, what if people don't buy? What if people don't like it? What if they like hers over there versus mine? Well, somebody's already doing that and they're doing extremely well. How can I ever compete with that? I wouldn't ask questions like that, because I would be on a mission. God told me to do it. I'm trusting God that it's going to happen. So now I'm just putting myself in position for what he says. See, when your mind is intentioned, when you believe that you have enough power to pull it off, when you know that you know that you know that you know, you're not waiting for a new year. That's too late. Even if the new year is 2 days from now. You're not waiting for a new week. That's too late. Even if this is Saturday. You're not waiting for tomorrow. That's too late, even if it's a few hours from now. You're passionate, you're ready, you're mission focused, purpose driven. You want to do it now because he told you, because he said you could have it. See, it's one thing when you're trying to live a millionaire's lifestyle and you're trying to do ABC or whatever you think is the plan to get you there, and you're getting tired and, it's some failures over here and it didn't work the way I thought it would. It's another thing when you really take what his word is and you take it personal and say, no, wait a minute. He told me I could have dominion. He told me that everywhere my feet tread, I had dominion. So if God told me this is the purpose, if God said this is my will for your life, then that means I'm going to have it. That means I'm already equipped. Not meaning that, I know everything. Yeah, it's a journey. But you walk with a different walk because I know this is God's purpose for my life. This is his will for my life. He already said I have the authority and the power and the dominion. So I expect to walk in places and have people say yes. I'm not paying attention so much to the no's. It's not that I'm infallible. I will make mistakes. It's not that there will be people that just say flat out no. That's okay because I'm focused on the yeses. I have a mission. Let's talk about Nehemiah. Nehemiah said he couldn't come down off the wall. And if you really read what he said in those verses and chapters, for him, it was like, how dare you even ask me to come down off the wall? I have a work to do. My hands are at a great work. I can't come down now and be distracted and do something else because everything else in this work that my hands, this great work that my hands are set to do, is not as important. You want me to come down off a wall? But how many of us are so easily distracted by things? It can take social media or a phone call. And that thing you were doing this moment that was so important, that was the key to your success. How quickly you just dumped that because of a phone call or somebody's post on social media. And then I had to share that. And then I got a text. And then I was hungry. And then the commercial came on for this. So I had to get in my car because they have this sale. And I had to go get this. And you know what? I forgot. Let me go by the bank and get this. Girl, you know they got this on sale. Let me go get this drink. Oh, you know, I love it when they mix this juice with this juice. And you know, now I'm a little, you know, I could take a little something sweet. Maybe I can go by my local bakery. We done got distracted. But just 5 minutes before that, what you were doing was so important. What you were creating was the key to your next big move, but just so easily you became distracted. And you know why I say in those moments, and I can talk about myself better than I can talk about you, it just wasn't a priority. It was a good idea. Wasn't a priority. It was my mindset a lot of times. Because no matter what I said, I didn't 100% believe it. I had been 100% convinced. So it was like that worker bee mentality where you get used to working. Well, see, the problem with the worker bee versus the visionary, you just know the work. So you'll work at anything. If I assign you this, you'll work at it till you're tired. And then you get kind of lazy. And then I assign you something else, you'll work at it till you get kind of tired and you get kind of lazy, or there's a shiny, bright object. But when you're a visionary, it's a little different. You know, I tell people, you know, I heard my mentor say this for years. I really didn't understand it until I was the person in that position. You think you are a business owner, just wait till you hire people. Because when you realize that part of someone else's wealth, part, if not 100%, how they feed their family has to do with the work you give them, you'll change your whole perspective, and they never lied. Because with my part-time workers, I take that thing seriously. Because anyone that's a CEO knows until your business is at a certain financial level, there may be times where you don't get paid. But you tell me that your staff, I don't care if they're full-time or part-time, you tell me they're not going to get paid. You tell me how legally you're going to do that. It becomes personal. And when people are thanking you because the money they earn with you makes a difference in their wealth, in their family, you take that thing personal. And you do what visionaries do. You continue with the vision. You go out and get bigger contracts. You go out and get more contracts because someone else's success, their wealth, their finances is dependent upon you. That's a little bit different for the person that's a worker bee, because only their wealth is dependent upon them. And let's be honest, if you're in that lazy, lackadaisical stage, sometimes we're even willing to give up a little bit of money because my rest is important. Or it's more important for me to knock off a little early so I can go over here and do this or that. You don't need a new year. You need a new you. We need to sometimes, when we're in these places where we're stuck, when we're in these places where we're not moving as fast as we think we should, when we're in these places where we've been really working at something for a long time and it's not coming together, sometimes what we need to do is just analyze the situation. And we need to start with the man in the mirror. How committed are you? Do you really? No one's looking at you. You're not at a meeting. It's not your girlfriends. It's not the industry. It's just you and God in that mirror. And one of the first questions you need to ask yourself, do you really believe that you're capable of pulling this off, no matter what your this is? If you said you're the CEO of this and this quarter we're doing this, you need to always look in that mirror and ask yourself, do you really believe you can pull this off? Because the truth is, if you're working at something worthwhile, it should scare you somewhat. Things that are big and lofty and time sensitive and other people depend on it. You know, the cliche says, to whom much is given, much is required. So when there's high stakes in this thing, you know, even the most confident person sometimes sits back and, whew, I just don't know. I just don't know. Man, I'm looking at this. You know, I say it's good. It's a double-edged sword because I've been a part of some projects here recently. You know, it's like it was exciting just for the opportunity. But when you got your hands deep down in that thing, I'm like, whoa, these stakes are high. This person's depending on, this team is depending on, this organization. You know, everybody says they want that massive growth. They want that massive response. But when you start getting those response, when you start getting those checks at the table, and this is your baby they're paying for, some of us start getting that pressure of, oh my God, what if I mess this up? Or what if I can't pull off what I said in the time frame I said? Let's get real. And see, some of us, we've been asking those questions for so long that we've actually sabotaged ourselves. It wasn't the competition. It wasn't the person next door. It wasn't even the negative thoughts that somebody drilled in you in yesteryear. It was just you. Because you didn't really believe what you sold people. And that is a tragic mistake. Because what God had me come to the awareness of, and you know, God speaks to us the way we speak to him. That's why I love God, because God will break things down to you and how you need to give it. Where somebody else might be teaching you in a different way and go over your head. You know, God had to point out to me that even those that scam people and know they're lying, know their only objective is to get that person's money for what they're promising, even they have more confidence in themselves than some of us. And at the time, he was talking about me. Think about that for a moment. See, that's where mindset comes into play. Because some of us are so gifted and talented. You know, I'm a firm believer. God don't make, if you go back to Genesis chapter 1, God looked at what he created and said it was good. God does not make junk. So I don't care what someone tries to convince you, you are already good enough. You were good enough when you took your first breath. But if you have a deceiver in your ear, you can think you're worth nothing. And your idea could be the next solution that the world needs, could be a multi-million-dollar idea, but someone's in your ear and has deceived you that it's worthless and you believed it. When in comparison, the liar, the scammer, the thief, they know whatever they're trying to sell you to get whatever they want, they're not going to produce. They're lying. And they're coming off more convincing than the one who is actually truthful. Why? What's the difference? Mindset. You can be gifted and talented, and if you don't believe, you will sabotage yourself every time. Many people could be operating at a much higher level, but do not, because they sell themselves short. And the truth is, they really don't believe. They really don't believe what they're saying. It sounds good, but they don't believe it. The thief is more convincing, and they know they're not going to produce what they're selling you. Think about that. Think about that the next time you count yourself short. Think about that the next time you're sitting there with this fabulous idea that you've already had other people confirm, oh, that's amazing. And you're sitting there, you know, procrastinating, dragging your feet. Think about that thief out there right now who is making so much money because he or she is convincing. Well, you have the solution. You have the talent. You were born with the God-given purpose. And you're procrastinating because you just don't believe. So what can you do if you're that person that doesn't believe? I tell you what I did, and I tell you what anyone I've ever questioned or asked that has been successful and was at that point what they did. They simply made a decision. I don't care how grandiose the action is or how mediocre it is. Everything starts with a decision. You can have the most beautiful car, fully gas, brand new off the showroom floor. You can have the keys in hand. The car could be fully paid for. The car could be in your name, registered, licensed, titled, perfect tires, fully operational, ready to go. But until you put that key in the ignition, and you can't stop there, you got to press start. Well, now we have cars where you don't need to put the key in the ignition, but some kind of way you have to press start and go. You've got to put your foot on the gas. You have to accelerate. You have to have action, because living in my head doesn't cause anything to happen unless I take action. And true success, anything that's accomplished and achieved, starts with the decision. You take the decision to be successful. Success is scheduled. That's another thing I'm always preaching in this season. Success is scheduled because it takes deliberate actions. It takes sequential actions. It takes intentional actions, not just planning and strategy. Because some of us plan and strategize something to death and don't do anything. You got the 1 year program, 1 year plan, 2 year plan, 3 year plan, 5 year plan, 10, 15, 20 year plan. All of that's great. I'm not telling you not to plan and have strategy. But if you don't do anything, you can have the most pretty, plan in the most pretty leather bound book. It's wonderful. It looks pristine. It looks beautiful. It's perfect. It would get funding. If you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. It's not just the plan. It's that you make a decision to take deliberate action. And some of us, the biggest decision we're going to start with is the decision to be great. I can only tell you what I know from my own personal walk. Many people, and I was one of them, have a fear of success. That's why they're never going to achieve it. Because they say they want this. Some of them even dare say, you know what, I can see myself on that stage. I can see myself in that life. But they're scared of success. Why? Because, if you want to be mediocre or you want to do nothing, no one expects anything of you. Once you put yourself out there, now the expectations come. And if we be honest, for some of us, especially our past life, whatever that looked like, past failures, past experiences, we're scared of expectations. We'd rather be that person in the background. We'd rather be that person, that helps everyone else be great. But as long as we can stay hidden, we good. As long as we can get a few attaboys every now and then, and we don't have to have the pressure to constantly deliver greatness, we good. Or if we can hide behind someone else and do great work for them, we good. I don't have to have that business. I don't have to be on that platform like that. Girl, I can be your guest every now and then. I'm good. Because if we were running the show, it would require something consistently. If we're in the spotlight, we have more expectations on us consistently. And for some of us, that's a problem because that sets the bar higher. And we're afraid of that. We're afraid of expectations. We're afraid of, massive success. But here, let me share one thing with you that ties this all up, and why, if you're one of those people, I hope you won't be. I pray that you won't be after this time together. God never built anything to be in the background. He didn't. You look at Genesis chapter 1, and it talks about, he created the heaven and earth. That's the first verse. And then it talks about how the world was, and everything was void. There was a cloud of darkness. It appeared void. It was formless. What did God start doing? God starts separating things and creating, separating heaven and earth, separating oceans and separating the air and the water. Have the ability to produce rain. But the water from the rain is different than the water from the ocean that creates the ocean. The formula was different. Over here could be dry land and earth, but over here would be mountains. He starts separating things. So all of these things that appeared formless, and it was a dark veil, and from the eye you couldn't see, when he did the separation, you could start seeing things. So if God did that with inanimate objects before he created us, if you look at the whole world in total, all these beautiful places we like to go at, for vacation, and you see the beauty of Alaska versus the beauty of somewhere like Aruba. And you see the beauty of Mexico versus the beauty of somewhere, let's say like Arizona in the desert. Why would God take so much time on the earth and the heaven and the seas and all the rocks and all the things that go in it to only create you and have you hide somewhere in your greatness? So he created you to be great. And he created this magnificent earth with all of its dimensions, even heaven, even space. Okay? You have space and planets. Why would God take so much time and meticulousness to create all of those things and make them visible for him to create awesome you in his image? The earth is not created in his image. Nothing in the earth is created in his image, not even the animals, but you. You are created in his image. And you're telling me he created you with the ability to make wealth and gifts and tools and purpose, only to have you hide somewhere behind someone else's greatness, someone else's platform, someone else's dreams, someone else's thoughts. That's all he created you for. So you can go hide in the corner. And you're telling me that was God's purpose and will for your life. And you know what? I was so comfortable with that until he asked me the same question. And you know what? It looked kind of stupid. And I am a person, I'm a wordsmith. I can get you an answer. Oh, honey, I can fabricate almost anything. But that time, I didn't have the answer. I guarantee you, if I could come up with one, it wasn't going to be good enough. It was as if God was sitting there looking me blank in the face. Now answer me that. And I couldn't answer him one because there's no truth in it. So I had to do a process to give myself permission to be great. And unlike what I had been taught, that's not the opposite of humbleness. It's accepting what you were created to be. If you were created to be a car, you're going to be a car. You're not going to try to be a microwave. You're not going to try to be a house. You have your advantages, it has its advantages, but that is not what you were created to be. That's like me trying to take a pencil and open my car. It wasn't designed for that. No matter if the pencil's in my hand and I can't find my keys. I need the key to unlock my car because that is what it was designed for. I also can't take my key and try to open my purse. It wasn't designed for that. God gave me hands and fingers to do that. So you don't need a new year. You need a new you. That's why the Bible says we transform our minds daily. Because for the levels he wants you to achieve, for the continued success and operation and flow by his spirit, you're going to have to daily renew your mind. It's not a one-time thing. Or you take a refresher class over here and you good to go. You know, that's why even the checkup at the doctor, you have a 6-month checkup. There's no checkup or no pill to give you or no food you eat that's so good you never have to go to the doctor for 5 years. No, you have an annual checkup. Dentist, you have 6 months checkup. There's different things that require you go with a certain frequency. Well, God's design plan and who you are to be, not who you to become, who he designed you to be, who it was your purpose from birth. You're going to have to renew your mind daily. You're going to have to stay with him daily. You're going to have to seek him daily to know what is the instructions each day and each step of the way. And if you understand that's what he's doing, then you shouldn't have fear because he already made you promises, gave you power and authority. So just go do it. Go claim what's rightfully yours. Go walk in those wealthy places. Take dominion because that's what he gave you. That's like sitting up here being poor. When you got $1 million in the bank, and the problem is you just don't know the code to access it. What's wrong with you? Go to the person that got your code, get the access, and live your life according to what you need and what was already provided. So that's my time with you on this Soul Shifting Sunday. I have enjoyed the pleasure of being here. I'm thankful to Cheryl Polote-Williamson and her team for making this possible. I will be answering your questions in this group, but of course, you can always follow me at thejoyguru.net. Even finding out about the publishing company, there's a link there because I believe you will never live in the fullness of joy until you live the life of your dreams. And I wish you joy unspeakable. And bye-bye for now from Alesha Brown, the Joy Guru.